County Attorney has the one dealing with the liability insurance. I'm gonna pass out copies of this is the County Attorney. And Commissioner Stevens is passing out something else, so we'll keep it. I have one dealing with an employee contract, a real nice employee contract as well. We finally got it through the system.
What I have is one for the county of West Jefferson. And the other is for Kimberly, and the other is for the demolition of the, which comes out of my district funds, demolition of Greenwood Junior High School.
And on the demolition of Greenwood, it's actually two items. One item where you're committing additional funds. The other item is approving the contract to do the actual demolition.
So, Chair will entertain a motion for these items, new business.
How many of them are there? Four? You've got the county attorney liability insurance. You've got the county employee contract from Maria Knight. You've got Greenwood, which is two items. One, putting the funding from Commissioner Stevens contingency funds, the other accepting the contract. You have Commissioner Knight's item for the contingency grant.
So I move, make a motion, we consider 5 items of new business.
West
Oh, wait a minute, we got another
Jefferson.
one. West Jefferson. There's something.
West Jefferson, there.
All right, so I move, consideration of 6 items of new business.
Okay. We have a motion for consideration. Is there any, that's for unanimous consent, anybody against it? Seeing none, it passed unanimously. Entertain a motion for.
Motion to move the 6 items.
Motion for second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Oh. Cal, you've got the employee service pin presentation, is that still up in the air, right?
No, we're discussing doing, this is the 30-year pins, if they could, y'all could take a minute, we'll hand them out, get your picture made with commissioners, and shouldn't take long.
Is that today or Thursday?
Thursday.
Both times.
Motion second, all in favor say aye. That concludes our report. Commissioner Knight.
Finance, Ms. Dixon.
Good morning, Commissioners. Finance report, we have our normal unusual demand report. Number 2 is the encumbrance reports. 3, purchase and exceptions report. Number 4 is the purchase and agenda report. Number 5 is our monthly procurement card statement for Regions Bank. And number 6 is a fixed asset transfer from ESD to fleet management for disposal.
Do I have a motion? 1, 2, 6.
So moved.
Motion. And a second, all in favor? Aye. All right, next we have individual staff development. I have to make a correction on page 7. What's my number now? Zach has that. Zach, are you on? It's not 16, 15, it's about 300 something, so I'll make that correction as soon as we get that number. What you asked, go ask for that number. He told me, but. Okay.
We'll get that corrected, Commissioner, for you.
Do I have a motion?
Right, so moved.
All in favor, please say aye. Personnel board's got an information only. We already did that. Board of Registrars, resolution for 2025 MVRA mail out, Secretary of State, Mr. Stevenson.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners, and Merry Christmas. Love your coat, Commissioner. So every 4 years, the National Voter Registration Act requires us to mail the entire voter file for address verification. This agreement sets up the state as our agent, so they do it for us, they handle all the process. processing, all the bulk mail, and they send it all out for all 67 counties, and each county has to have an agreement with the state. So that's what this is, and this is a good thing. They handle it all.
All right, any questions?
Move.
Have a motion? All in favor, please say aye. And we did find out that number on page 7 is 383. All right, general services?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
General Services has 3 items on the agenda. The first one is a revenue-generating contract for election services for the city of Bessemer. The second item is a resolution to issue a notice of lease termination for Scenic View Cafe and Catering. And the last item is for a chiller removal and installation at the Center Point location.
Is that the courthouse?
Yes,
Okay. And is this Scenic View, is that the one across the street?
It is, and
it
this,
is.
and Commissioners, that, I'm sorry, the lease agreement requires a 12-month notice to terminate. We're not terminating the lease at this time, but we have had in the very near past where they were not making their payments. They called up, but this gives us the ability to, go ahead and give our 12-month notice. That way, in the next 12 months, we don't have to wait 12 months if $6 runs and all that stuff.
So we can rescind this termination.
This just, right.
That's-
But we don't lose 12 months if something happens, it's the next 6 months.
All right, any, do I have a motion?
Move.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Probate court,
thank you.
resolution approving constable bonds resolution.
I'll move that.
That was for all right. Have a motion and a second, all in favor? All right, now I have a board appointment, Palmdale Fire, and a public service grant to the BJCC.
I move both.
Have a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Concludes my report.
Mr. Bowman. All right. No, he's got a presentation, I think.
If you see.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, everybody. Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, we have no items on the Board of Equalization, Environmental Services, General Retirement, 3 items under Human Resources. Do we have any questions? One is for the employment of Board of Registrars Agreement, and also we have Deputy Director of Environmental Services and Deputy Director of General Services.
Move 1, 2, 3.
All right, so it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And none, actually no other business. Merry Christmas. Painless.
All right, Mr. Bowman. Oh, we do have a pen and ink on that first line, so sorry.
On which one?
On number 3, employment agreement.
Yeah, tomorrow what it should say, forgive me, it should say General Services, so do we,
That's right.
do we need to do an amendment? No. To the vote, or we should be good?
We're good. We get that. We are.
Theo, are we good? We don't, even though it's pen and ink?
It's been in.
Okay, all right, very
All
good.
right, we're good.
Thank you.
All right, question.
Okay, thank you. We got 3 items under economic development. The first one is the innovation control agreement. Brookfield, George there, and we see any questions of her.
Who's supposed to be giving a report for that? On behalf of the innovation? Is that you, sir? Okay, thank you. You so
Good morning. So with us here today is Brooke Gillis. She can come give you an update on the Innovation Depot's results from last year and what they're looking at doing this year with the requested funding.
I'll be quick. As you know, the Innovation Depot has 100+ companies. Right now, we're at 193 companies that are housed in the Innovation Depot, all surrounded around tech companies. About 893 people are what we call on a roster, which means they work inside of our walls. On any given day, there's about 400 actually in the building. thing is our programs, which is one of the main line items that y'all worked on, doubled in size this year. We were able to help 56 founders go through our programs. We were even able to start a new program called Boost that helps founders that have an idea that they want to quit their job, but they don't yet have the means to do that. But they're not ready to be an entrepreneur. We bring them in on Saturday mornings and train them how to be an entrepreneur. Of the 56 that went through that program, 21 of them made it to our second program. And I'm excited to announce today that 2 of those 21 have actually been able to quit their jobs and follow their dreams to be entrepreneurs. And so I believe that the program, one of the ones that y'all help, are really, really making a difference in this Birmingham area. We've welcomed 32 new companies to the depot, which is huge. That means that we are a thriving tech ecosystem. We're able to stay around 86 to 90% occupied all year long, which is really, really great. We also opened our doors this year to 13,000 new people with the opening of our new event space. And we've opened our doors to really anyone that wants to come to the Innovation Depot and use the space. I see many familiar faces in this room that have been able to use our new space. And so the goal of that space is for us to get more eyes on our entrepreneurs, so they invest more in our entrepreneurs, that they use their products, that they become their customers and their investors. So we've had a really, really great year.
I have 2 questions, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Sure.
And good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So the first question is, last year I asked about what are the numbers as it relates to small and minority businesses. So I'm gonna hone in on really what my interest is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanna know what is the number of black-owned business that because we understand the federal definition of minority has changed. So how many of these black-owned businesses that we have in Innovation Depot?
So we did a survey about 3 months ago, and we had 7% participation in that survey. 70% of people in the building filled out the survey.
Okay.
46 founders are minority-led, meaning, and 39 are women-led. And of our programs, just to make sure there's a difference between programs and building, I'll give you that number. Our voltage programs, 60% are black, 60% are female, and 67 minority.
How many are in the actual building?
46.
46 black-owned businesses, right?
Right. Founders or minority-led, correct.
No, not minority. I'm being very clear. If you don't have it, then just tell me that.
Well,
But
hold on just a second. Let me, I think
I
that's,
don't-
Capital is on the minority, I agree with.
yeah, I understand. Hang on just a second. Let me make sure I didn't pull that down.
And then the B part, while you're trying to identify that information, is that are you all open? I remember years ago, before your tenure, that there was a slight heartburn to have economic development or entrepreneurial type of events at Innovation Depot, even though I think it's the birthing place for dreamers. Are you all open to having economic development events? Let's just say if the commissioner decided that he and his beautiful staff, they wanna identify some Jefferson County, owned businesses, right? Here in the city or whatever in Jefferson County. And are you all open to that?
For events or to rent space there?
No, ma'am, for events, especially being that we're your partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surely you would
Okay,
you
absolutely.
would want to partner with us to help foster that. I want to know if you're interested in having economic development events that are spearheaded by the county.
Absolutely. We opened that new event space last October. I think that we maybe even have had many economic events there. We have every event under the moon at the Innovation Depot. Our doors are completely open. There's absolutely zero rules when it comes to events. We don't have weddings and birthday parties. But everything else, 100%. Concerts, right.
No, I was very
absolutely.
specific in
Yes.
my ask. I'm not interested in that other stuff. I said economic development
Yes.
events.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanna, we can have a concert there while we're at it.
No,
And
100%.
while
yeah.
we're there making money, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. We actually held
Sure.
Bob Dickerson's big event there that helped with small business jobs just a few weeks ago.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that you all are open, to doing that because, I think that this is how we're gonna grow opportunities, but it will justify the county's participation continuously with Innovation Depot.
I would love it, absolutely.
I'm
Commissioner,
gonna hold you to it.
I'll also add, they've always been a good partner with us as well. Whenever we've had companies coming in to visit the area, hosting them, allowing them to tour the area, and actually letting us do meetings there. They've always been a real partner.
So your space can hold how many?
About 175.
Okay, comfortable.
Comfortable.
All right, you got that information, the A part?
I don't have it, but I'd be happy to email it over to you as soon as I get back to the
Well,
office.
I do want you to come back, if you don't mind, Commissioner. I'd love for you to be able to say that in this open meeting type setting,
Sure.
even if it means for the next meeting.
And I could probably text somebody and find that out in about 5 seconds.
Okay, well,
Don't
guess
have
what,
it on
if
the
you have it before the meeting concludes, I'm
Sounds
sure
great.
the president will allow.
I will.
But I'm very clear, not
Absolutely.
minority.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're so kind, thank you. That's it.
I move 1 through 3.
Wait,
Second.
wait a minute. I thought you was gonna ask about something else. I wanna ask about I have several questions. What is the difference between the amount of, funding from last time? Who would I talk to, Jeff? It's not you, but we giving you, you want money. What's the difference between this amount of money, 400 and 150?
So last year, the organizations that were funded by the county came from a couple of different pools of monies. One of those being economic development, the other one being the contingency fund. So $500,000 was pulled for the Birmingham Business Resource Center out of the contingency fund last year. So this year, we had to figure out how to get that into the economic development fund. At a rate that's, on par with similar organizations, that we've been funding, and to give it a better footing for future, awards through the county.
Bob, is there any way you can come up and give a report, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask this question to the commissioner before he makes his report. So, I recall the contract being $500,000 that was approved, right? Okay, so that was for 1 year? I'm asking, not Terry. Okay, so funding source for 1 and 3. Where is that coming from? Oh, okay, I'm looking at you, I'm sorry. Is that,
That's economic development.
it's economic development? However, number 2 comes from what funding source?
This go around, we are proposing funding it out of economic development.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why we are not equitably funding all at the same level?
It really depends on the services. So we've got a couple of other funding requests that'll come in, that are similar to Bob's group, that we're looking at a lower amount on those. But those won't come in until after the first of the year. So on, the Birmingham Business Alliance, that's to cover, lead generation activities, marketing. They also, help us with research and RFI support, whenever a company's looking at the area, we have to respond back with a request for information. They help us prepare that. So they kind of serve as an extension of our staff here. Innovation Depot, we're looking at a higher amount on that one due to the overall operating expenses that they offer, and the high rate of companies and staff to assist.
Yeah, because from my understanding, Bob, don't you do the same things?
Well, we've been given reports, so we do counseling, coaching, financing for small businesses. We've sent our reports, last year we touched 945 businesses in this community. And so our services are tailored to the business's needs. So no two businesses are alike. And so we positioned ourselves to be able to respond to whatever businesses need. We actually did in micro loans about $700,000, and these are very small loans that I will say, if not for us, these companies wouldn't get, because they aren't deemed to be bank credit worthy, but we also sent about $600,000 in loans to banks and made about $12.5 million of SBA loans in Jefferson County last year.
So, what I'm saying now, not trying not to say, I'm scared. I want, how can we get this funding balanced out, Commissioner, President, and Finance Chair? Because I just don't feel like this is balancing out with the service that is being given.
May I add something? Before-
Well, it's, Mr. Boland, it's his, committee meeting, but I do have a question too. How much is Birmingham, contributing to all three of these organizations? How much are they contributing to you?
We asked for $80,000 this year and we still
And
haven't
you're
got it.
not getting, how much you asked for you?
Um,
Wait a minute.
Last year, we got $50,000 from Birmingham.
Last year you got $50,000. BBA,
They do not
it's
currently,
Birmingham Business Alliance.
they do not currently contribute, we are
No.
hopeful that they might in the future.
Okay, I just want everyone to understand that the county is doing its part, okay? And that we're, no matter whether it seems equitable or not, it's doing much more than our partners are. So I understand that, but we can't tell everybody what.
I understand that too. But you can at least leave me halfway, give me at least a couple of it out there. We're not gonna teach them.
See if you can siphon something from that.
No, it needed, his funding needs to stay us nowhere. Now, it's not right.
I understand that, but Bob needs to, he does a good job.
He does
a good job.
excellent job, and
I understand
without
all.
our businesses, economy wouldn't be no economy. We would not be able to function. Small business is what makes this county worse. I'm telling you.
I understand.
So without Bob, we wouldn't even have half of the businesses.
Bob, how much are these, and I'll ask everybody the same question. How much is excluded the city of Birmingham? How much of this are you investing outside?
So my reports that I brought you all isolated all of our activity for Jefferson County. So everything that we saw in the reports we brought during this year, the 945 businesses, the 41 workshops, the micro lending, the SBA lending, that was all Jefferson County.
All, none in Birmingham.
Well,
Can you
Birmingham is
buy
part of Jefferson County, so we didn't.
Yeah.
Right. This is all of Jefferson County.
And I said that for demonstration, so I understand where you're.
So, let's,
Sorry, Joe.
you had something to add, Joe?
Well, I was just asking if this young lady was asking about checks and things, and I'm asking you, do you have a particular percentage that go to Birmingham businesses versus the rest of the county?
I'd have to find out. I don't know that. We don't track it. So,
Okay.
until last year, we actually made a concerted effort to make sure that we did a lot of work in Jefferson County and we isolated our Jefferson County work. And so those are the numbers. We could go back and look at, addresses of our clients and be able to determine how many were in the city of Birmingham and how many were outside.
That'd be helpful.
And so, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, let me just quantify what my concern is. Because, I remember you said it, very eloquently last time this beautiful young lady, you were coming from Next Tech, I think, before, right? That's okay, you be strong, I'm with you.
2 years ago.
I understand. And you know what his question was then? His question to you was, what is the city of Birmingham doing to help what you all are doing, right? Okay, that being said, you have, and I want us to get away or refrain from saying Bob's name, because Bob represents an entity. When you came up, we referred to Innovation Depot, right? When you all come up, it's gonna be Birmingham Business Alliance. He is Birmingham Business Resource Center. He happens to be the representative, so let's quantify that. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jeff, in this setting, I'm telling you, Mr. County Manager, that we need to, whatever we fund, we need to fund it the same level based upon the amount of work that is being invested. Now, I asked you a question before, and you fumbled then, right? You're a sweetheart, I got you.
I got it.
But you fumbled today. And yet we still asking of this same business to quantify a report that they've already provided. Now, only thing that I will say is this, I'm in agreement. It needs to be inclusive, yet mostly Jefferson County because of the fact that this is Jefferson County Commission, right? But at the end of the day, I am still interested in what are these black-owned businesses getting? And because I am a woman-owned business myself, makes me a double minority, right? So I'm very clear, I want to know, based on what it is you specifically do, how many goals, measurable goals are we achieving? And if we are achieving those goals, then I think when you talk about, and I'm not the smartest person on math, I'm just good at consumer math. So 400 minus 150 is technically, what is it, $250,000 difference? Right? Am I right? Okay, so that's a sizable difference, Jeff. And our economic development fund, we just passed the budget, October 1, right? So we got another $10 million and we struggling on 250,000. Now, if we're not meeting our goals for Jefferson County, then I say we need to reassess these numbers based on productivity, right, performance. And then I think we need to make all of these the same, or if we're gonna go by performance, then let's shape this in terms of performance. Because one of the things that I've noticed, we don't get reports from you all unless we ask for it. Do you give it?
100% before you ask for it.
Okay,
Well,
well, I wanna make sure that I get a copy. Give it to the chairman, but then give it to the remaining commissioners. Am I making sense? Because, no, I know he already did, but what I'm saying is, in all fairness, Jeff, we want to grow the economy of Jefferson County. We just won't remain the largest county because we are. We gotta be competitive, right? And so, and when we talk about extensions, this is an extension. All of them are extensions. They may have a particular mission by which they are performing at a higher rate than others, but I think if you take all of their specificities and put them all together, then they're touching the women, the disabled, the black folks. They're getting all these businesses that we're trying to impact, and we'll be able to do it successfully. But you're not gonna be able to give them $150,000 and then say, by the way, we're gonna give you some kind of program funding and that kind of stuff. And the reason why I say that in closing, Mr. President, I just did something for urban impact, and I wish I could have done more. It was $25,000, to be honest with you. But for the businesses that I saw there, and for the younger folks who were there that are entrepreneurs, it made me give them another $10,000 because I said, other than that, they're not gonna have no serious money. Anytime you're trying to grow a business, startup capital is crucial. If you don't have startup capital, the likelihood of your business actually being successful is very minimal, you know? So we want them to be successful. I want you all to have money too. And I want this organization to have equal amount of money, okay? And then when we all come back together, like the president said, if Birmingham doesn't do what Birmingham does, that's fine. But when we represent the county, we wanna make sure that we're touching every business that we possibly can so that we can continue to be a thriving county. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll
And
just real
let me
quick.
say something here.
Mhm.
Right.
And you have to remember the role of Jefferson County in our government. Jefferson County builds something. We create the infrastructure for these municipalities that wish to thrive and to be able to give this type of money that they should give to the entrepreneurs. We don't, it's not our job to prop things up. It's our job to have good sewers, good roads, and protect the people. We do not have the resources that the city of Birmingham has. Our budget is less than the the city of Birmingham. Our tax base is less than the city of Birmingham. And it's not fair for Jefferson County to have to come up with the majority of the monies, or to be greater than that, to take care of our people, our nonprofits that work to create opportunities for people, no matter what color they are, okay? Or what gender they are. But if you remember and place that in our context of what we do, where we were 15 years ago and where we are now, it's good that we have a small amount of funds that we can do this, because it improves the quality of life. But our job, our main job, is to create that infrastructure and to have that safe environment for everyone to be successful. Safe thoroughfares to and from work and school, and good utility, good service. And the rest of this is, like my dad used to say, is gravy. I mean, it's extra that what we will get, so.
So, Mr. President, you would agree that our 772 then, amendment 772 rather, our economic development, I'm talking to you too, Jim, allows for us to be able to use that language to enhance these businesses. And I agree with you, Jimmy, me and you on one accord. Guess what? I also know that when these small businesses thrive, they pay taxes. And when you pay taxes, you're paying into the general fund that allows us to be able to reciprocate these services that we're talking about. We have over $1 billion budget, right? We have a large budget actually in the county, with the understanding though, that's why I keep talking about performance.
Ours is 230. You know, we take in $1 billion,
Yeah.
but it's all distributed to where it belongs. And we operate on, what's the budget at, right?
She's not here.
She's not
Her,
here.
her,
230 something?
No, it's a
I'll
little
get it
more
for you,
than that, but-
Commissioner, in one moment.
But you get what I'm
That's
saying, in
not-
other words,
that's not-
we want you all to be successful, because what it does is, in turns, the 2 cents that we get, and the 1 cent that we have to give away to the schools, right? Then we wanna make sure that at least, we're seeing a return on it. That's the only thing that she and I are saying. At the end of the day, I think if we do the proper investing, and you all are doing what you need to do to the fullest extent that you can possibly do, then I think you have 3 economic development arms that when Jimmy goes out as the president, he can be able to say, we have touched every part of Jefferson County, and that the county is doing what we need to do, not as a subsidy, but as an investment, so we can help continue to grow the economy. Not only grow the economy, but get roads paved, bridges done, and all kind of senior services, you understand? I'll get well.
What we do, we increase this 250, what we do, put it out there, just how we do this.
Real quickly, just as a reminder, this isn't a 772 incentive.
Private.
Yeah, this is a contract for services. Each of these is vetted out based on the performance expectation of the contract and the amounts attached thereto.
So you talking about all these contracts, so his contract can't be increased 250?
Well, the next point is that the commission capped the organizational support out of economic development at $1 million. Now, we had $2 million worth of funding requests come in. We had to figure out how to best allocate it. And because we do put a lot of importance on
Right, so
business
can we-
support,
okay, so-
two-thirds of the funding is going towards small and moderate business right now.
So can we balance all these out? Instead of giving them 400, balance it out to where they all getting the same?
The commission can do whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Your
what I think.
recommendation was based on what, yeah?
The level of services that we expect out of each of these contracts. So with VBA, it is helping us with RFI responses, research support, marketing, and lead generation with Innovation Depot. It is funding the operations, small business support services that they have, the programmatic services they have. With the Birmingham Business Resource Center, it's the funding of small and minority business support for Black-owned businesses in the area, especially with the focus on those support services that hit those core goals such as market studies, business plan development, access to capital, those sorts of things.
So is it that he has a restricted in terms of their organization? Is it because we have a restricted request of them? Or are you saying that they don't have the capacity to operate on the level of these organizations?
I'd say I would say they lack capacity to do what it is that they do. I'm saying that the support services of the Innovation Depot hits more people overall in terms of the employees that work there and the founders that work there. But Bob's group also hits a ton of people locally as well. I mean, we are looking at a good level of support on that one, but if the commission chose to tweak those numbers, then they can do that.
Well, I agree. Let me just say this, Mr. President, in closing. Within specifically, and I know that we don't like talking race, but we're just talking about data and facts, right? Within the Black community, that is a multi-trillion-dollar national economy. We could fund a nation if we actually work together, right? Now, that being said, the county does less than 5% with Black-owned businesses, right? And so to equal that out, or to balance it out,
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. 5%.
we do less than 5% business with Black-owned businesses with the county. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yes, Lord. I'm telling you we do. And I made it a point. That's why I keep talking about Birmingham Resource Center. I'm not just saying this because he's Black and I'm Black. I'm talking about the numbers. And so that's the first thing that I asked in purchasing with Michael, what was his last name, the pastor? Michael Matthews, Pastor Matthews, forgive me, Pastor. Okay, that's why I started asking him as the vice chair, how much business do we do with Black-owned businesses? And that's why they started having these little meetings over there at the library, right? Specifically to try to cater to that part. So what I'm saying, Jenny, being that we see that that's a deficiency and we want to correct, I'm clear, Jeff, everything is left up to the commission, including the information that is distributed within this commission. So what I'm asking respectfully is that if we are asking a restricted service, then that would justify 150 versus 400. But if capacity is there, and it's just because we haven't asked, then I'm saying to the folks who generally don't save but spend money, that's the Black community. We struggle to save, but we spend plenty of money. Why would you not go after that demographic, since the sales tax, occupational tax, any other taxes are typically out of that community? But we do less than 5%. And did you know that, Jeff? Okay, you needed to know that. See, we're gonna educate, coach you up too. Okay, so that's all that we are saying is that because we know that there's a gap there, if we can look at appropriating accordingly, I think that we will be able to meet all of our goals. And I don't have to keep asking you, ma'am, about the Black-owned business, because we got some entity that does that. You can keep working on small business and you can keep working on regional business.
So where we gonna get this money from?
No, well, that's a funding source. The commission has to agree.
Let me ask a question. You said that, there's two other entities similar to the Birmingham Resources, that we're going to fund, right?
Did a requested funding. Last year we funded the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance and the Hispanic Interest Coalition of Alabama.
What is it?
I didn't hear you.
The Hispanic Interest Coalition of Alabama and the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance. We funded them last year as well for small business support services and workshops. They've indicated they'll refund it here as well.
What did we fund them at?
Last year it was at $100,000 each, and we're proposing $125 because they exceeded each of their metrics for last year.
That's almost, I felt a slap on my face. I hope that that's printed for media. That's a slap. It sounds like what you have decided to do unilaterally is you're saying that all minority businesses get a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there, and then we just give them 400 and give them 400, right? Here's what I say. How come we can't, the commission can't appropriate funding based upon performance? If this organization that we're talking about in question has not performed, and we know that we've had a report to say otherwise, I understand that. If you telling me that we have something specifically for Latinos, or specific to whatever, and his emphasis is not just black, but small business, stimulation, I don't, that part, I don't get, Jeff. I mean, 100 to 150, and you talking about an organization that's been in existence at least over 20 years with a track record of getting things done. I think that commissioners, we need to look at this very closely, because what we're doing is we're traveling down a road that, in my humble opinion, you have more black businesses than you do any other race of businesses. You just do, Jeff. And we need to let our investment be solid based upon data, not no feelings, not no you black, I'm black. I'm only talking about data. What's effective if it's working. If it's working, let's do it. Doesn't work, cut it off. I would say the same to Mr. Dixon and his group. But what I don't think is right is that we continue to fund and we think it's okay to marginalize one for the other when they all three have the same capacity. Same capacity, Jeff. I think that the commission needs to look at that. We're traveling, to my humble opinion, down a road that we shouldn't do for a demographic that spends money.
Did we do that last year when we raised this one to 500,000? See, I wasn't here the year before that.
Yeah, I understand.
What was the year before that?
Well, the year
I
before.
don't think we've ever funded, have we?
Well, you're right, we didn't, but if you recall, there was a big debate because your predecessor was actually being courted for over 3 years and kept telling this organization to provide information to substantiate getting funding, right? But the thing was, if it never got past the chair, then it was never presented to the body.
So my question is, and
Sure.
you may be response, certainly not in toto. What was the gift from this?
So last year was
No,
500,000.
see, that's interrupted again. Let's don't
I'm
do
sorry,
that.
then forgive me.
My mother always told me that everybody don't be around issues.
Sure, I said forgive me.
I'd just like to know, maybe the gentleman can tell us, it's his business, what the funding level was before I came here 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Because when I came in, the first thing I saw was it was elevated to $500,000. And this business, which is a good business, is down in a place where, when I went down there, they were all new businesses. They would come in and stay 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they'd get education, and they'd be out in the community, in the private sector. How long have you been down in the Innovation Depot?
We've been in the business incubation system for 28 years. We started at the Entrepreneur Center when we opened our doors. So we've been a good tenant. Matter of fact, we paid at least $1 million in rent through our history. To answer your other question, if I could. So our funding, we've been trying to get funding for years. Last year was the first time we've been successful. So the prior year was 0.
So do, Innovation Depots send you clients to train?
Well, we get clients by being a tenant and being in the, in the atmosphere. Yes, we do. So we would.
Leonard 10 was grazed by a bullet in his head. Round the corner from me, before Leonard 10 was grazed by a bullet in his head. Round the corner from me, before day this morning. That's what my neighborhood woke up to, right? And that's beyond you, but I'm just telling you that, when you have certain environments and all you have is toxicity, that's what's prevailing, right? But nevertheless, the only thing I will say, I'm with you, Jimmy. I wish that we could really just reconsider this whole item. And I think we need to look at rewriting. And I think we need to look at renaming you all, even though you're the only organization that's not named out in Birmingham. I know you don't wanna hear that, but I'm just saying, all things being equal, because, you know, even though Birmingham Resource Center, has been at Innovation Depot for a while, they are still helping to subsidize your budget. They are still helping to subsidize your budget. So in addition to what you all getting from us today, guess what else you're getting? Rent from that organization. So all of their tenants, that they're bringing to your organization, they're paying you rent. Now, if it was a situation where you weren't, then I'm back to you. I say, yes, sir, you're absolutely right. You know, do it at 150 and get them 400, cause they're not giving them a dime. So at least that can count, that can be an in-kind service, but that's not the case. They're paying. So that's the reason why I said I have to be a voice for small business, because I am one and I am black. And a lot of times people want us to give work, but they don't want to pay us for it. Want the work, want the product, but don't want to pay us for it. So if we don't have vital services that can be offered, that can try to help stimulate us, the average black-owned business typically have to utilize their own personal capital in order to have their business to either be developed or to move into some, I know from personal experience. So that may not matter to anyone else, and that's okay. But I'm just telling you, as one who is a double minority, that it's hard out here. It's very hard. And I'm in Jefferson County. But at the end of the day, that's why I am advocating to the degree that I am, is to say that this is all we have. And I know we have these other organizations, and not to discount them, but you know what I would say to Jeff? Well, let those folk go and work with them. And so then, you know, this organization can at least do what they've been able to do for almost 30 years. It's like we keep questioning historical facts. You know, if Birmingham Business Resource was probably 10 years or less, then you probably wouldn't get no pushback from me. But you talking about almost 30 years and had to beg the previous commissioner just to be able to have a seat at the table. Just so that you know.
So you just said put all of three of them out? That's what you're saying?
Well, I'd like for us to reconsider the
There's a
items.
motion on the table for 1, 2, and 3, so that's.
Bob? Yes. We're gonna have to shut off this debate here. I'm gonna move the item.
I'll move.
And I'll give you my word that we'll go back and we will look at it. I'm good for more. Anybody here, if you doubt that, just go back and look.
When you say we're gonna go back and look at it?
We'll go back and look at it and see where we are, and if there's any other funding that we can do, we will. But this motion, I made the motion.
I made the motion.
Okay.
You second?
We got a motion and a second, we had a discussion, anything further? All in favor?
So, Mr. President?
No.
No, but Mr. President, let me say this while we're at the table. If it's deemed feasible, since this is because I know I've been doing a lot of this talking today, I'm willing to put up $50,000 from the district to fund this nonprofit to assist with what we're talking about. Ms. County Attorney, is there any way possible that we can look at this item, since we just had it, and then if I'm willing to add 50 to it, are you in agreement with that, Mr. President? And you said to put them at 200.
If I were you, I'd do it on a separate resolution to make it clean.
You can do it either way. I would suggest that you just do on separate grant to support it.
Well, since
And
we
it-
already
it
at
can-
this
it can
jump.
It can mirror this one, otherwise you'd have to redo what you started doing. Because you gotta do your transfer from your monies to the funding source of this. So you can achieve the same thing. And if you wanted to even put a community grant, do that, do it as new business now, you could do that. But I wouldn't advise going back and amending this week.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I am, however, asking, tell me what we can do since we just entertained this. And at least the chairman is in agreement with, the fact that, you know, he sees it as a viable organization. So if we can take this up, Jimmy, as maybe a new item, if necessary, can we do it from
Does
floor?
it have to go through the process?
I guess it,
For
Yeah, but
if
you're
you-
utilizing the same paperwork though, Joe.
if you're gonna do, if there's gonna be an application for a community grant, you all, under these circumstances, you could move an item of new business to do a community grant under these same circumstances and have them apply for that, and then go through the process, and that way it would be on, it wouldn't have to be new business on Thursday, if you wanted to do that, under these same terms.
Right, so let me make sure I'm hearing you. You're saying that we can go ahead and entertain this item right now? Because all we're gonna do is get the paperwork that they've already submitted to their office.
If you're asking to entertain a community grant, what you would
Yes.
be doing is another item of new business for
Right.
a community grant from your district for, this organization for these same purposes. And then assuming they made the application, and work done for Thursday, then it would not be an item of new business on Thursday, it would go on the agenda for Thursday.
Mr. President, can we entertain that item?
It's his.
Do you mind, Mr. Chair, if
But
we,
the question that I have is the process that he goes through the same as the commissioner goes through. I'm not sure that that's the same. I know we have a 10-step process. And if you're saying that that's good as from a legal perspective, then I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that in order, it can either be new business on Thursday, that the commission desires to do so, understanding that, with the understanding that the paperwork and the process will be completed on Thursday. If it's not completed on Thursday, then you can obviously withdraw it from the agenda. But I'm just saying, for expediency's sake, that if you want to entertain a community grant, understanding at this point what the parameters are, because it's gonna be the same services that you have here, so you have that before you, subject to the application by the applicant having the paperwork ready on Thursday.
so he's saying we can either,
I'd entertain it as new business.
Correct.
I think that would.
Correct, that way it would have passed through
That's
committee.
proper.
It would pass through the committee, and it would not have to be unanimous consent of new business on Thursday.
yeah, you saying,
If the
can
body
we do
desires.
this new business here is my question. Because he's not talking about new business on Thursday.
Yeah,
Yes, new business today.
ask for
You
an
know what
item.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then at least they'll put them at two. At least they'll put them at two.
So it'll come out of the Economic Development Committee.
Right.
So you want to entertain one item of new business.
Yes, sir, please.
And it takes unanimous consent to do that, so they can do
But that's not, that don't have anything to do with this item right here to approve.
it adds $50,000 to
Well, it's gonna be a separate, it will be a separate.
a separate item, but it gives them an extra $50,000 to operate with.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and you already done your vote. So,
I'm voting no on this right here.
you've already done that, Commissioner.
Okay, yeah, and then that vote's recorded, I think.
Yeah, you've already done that.
And I give them 50,000 on my discretion. I'm not voting on this right here. This
So
is
we already
something
done
else.
that, so do you mind, Mr. Chair, when you complete your, matter of fact, with your permission, that I move items 1 and 2 under your business? Alright? Alright, go ahead and carry, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, you gotta carry.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So, Mr. President, if you don't mind, we'd like to go ahead and consideration of item of new business based upon those two community grants.
So it will come from this committee.
Say again.
You-
But it doesn't have to come from his committee. Because,
Well, you can't stop this committee from operating, you still got another item to do.
no, we just did it. We just voted on it.
We voted on for you, got two people over there. This is in the-
Oh, no, yes, he did. He did 1, 2, and 3. Your business is finished. No, we just did it.
So Chair will entertain, one item of new business
So moved.
for unanimous consent.
So moved.
Is anyone against it? All right, considering one item of new business, that new business would be $50,000 from District One, $50,000 from District Three, to add to the, Birmingham
Business
Business
Resource
Resource Center.
Yes, sir. I so move.
Moving second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So,
We're gonna have to have a closer look at that stuff,
Well, Jim has given us his word.
no, I'm not.
Can I show, I
I'm
gave
not,
you Bob.
because I'm serious,
That's
I
good,
don't like
that's
this
your word.
at all.
All right, man, this thing on a good note, how about that? I've got, since I've gone public with my diagnosis,
Before you,
I feel better. I have good results, I have good prognosis, and prayers do work. And I certainly do appreciate that, and please continue your prayers. I haven't missed a lick. I feel better this week than I did last week. I feel better last week than I did the week before. So, everything is progressing and doing very good, and I certainly do appreciate the prayers. And, just continue them, and we'll work through this thing and get it done, and, be here a long time.
Parker, parade today, starts on the short 20th at 12 o'clock. Everyone please come out. Congratulations to Parker High School. I actually wore my shirt, and it's a proud parent right here. Son is actually on the football team. Yeah. Yeah, actually, really, I'm so excited for this, the whole school, and it's our 125th year celebration of an existence. 125 years.
That's wonderful.
That is something else.
Do you have?
Just Merry Christmas to all the Jefferson County employees, appreciate their efforts this year. Everybody has a great time.
See ya.
Merry Christmas.
Mr. President, can I say real quick, this Thursday, 11 o'clock, graduation, Sheriff's Academy, out in Fultondale, right after the meeting here. If any commissioners would like to come, we can arrange a tour for you guys. Welcome to stay for lunch. We got 34 people graduating, 14 of whom will be new Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies starting on Friday morning. So we'd love to have y'all right after the commission meeting on Thursday, if anybody wants to go.
Well, if it goes anything like today, we might not be there. December 13th, the county was 205 years old. We're aging.
Aging very well, too.